I've just got the latest data from Mr. Dawson telling us how many minutes the Year 12 spent watching our videos last week. You may have it in front of you.
Oh, have you got anything to summarise it with?
Well, I'd really like to find the median, but I'm not sure how you do it with a grouped frequency table.
Ooh, groups, awkward.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy even just with an estimate.
Good news, gentlemen. I can't tell you the exact value, but I can give you a damn good estimate using interpolation. How many people did you say you had?
30 people.
So if we're looking for the median, we want the 15th person, the middle person, how long they spent watching videos.
15 because it's just halfway. You just take 30 divided by 2.
Exactly right, sir. You don't even need the pots.
Boom.
So gentlemen, to find my estimate for the median, well, the median's the middle person, and I can see from the cumulative frequency here we've got 30 people. So obviously for the estimate we want about half of that, so 30 divided by 2. I'm looking for the 15th person. So the 15th person, if the way we think about this, well, if I lined everyone up from the person who'd watched the least number of minutes to the student who'd watched the most number of minutes, well, I'm starting at the beginning of the line, I've got no one, I haven't passed anybody. And then I go past everyone who's watched 1 to 9 minutes. So going in I've got no one, but coming out, 4 people so far have watched the minutes of video. And then I've got the next group. Now there's 4 coming in, another 5 people have watched between 10 and 19. So coming out, I've got 9 people. Now, going on to the third group, we've got 9 going in, another 15 people watching. So coming out of that, we've got 24 people. Now I'm looking for the middle person, the 15th person. So that's got to be between 9 and 24. So it's somewhere in this group, is my estimate. Now how am I going to work this out? Well, I've got a little data diagram that helps me do this. So if I think about it, I've said going into this group, I've got 9 people. Coming out of this group, I've got 24 people. And for all I know, all 15 of these people watched 38 minutes. They might all 15 have watched 21. But I think for an estimate, it's a fairly reasonable assumption to think they're roughly spread along. So somewhere spread along this data line, I'm going to get my 15th person, the one I want as my median. So the median person is somewhere along that line. Now, I've got to think about that in terms of the data. So I've got to be careful of those class widths. We've got 19 and 20 here. So the class boundary for this will be 19.5. And obviously at the top end, 39 and 40, so the class boundary is 39.5. And to find out my estimate, I can just say, well, I can make some equivalent fractions because I know the distance between here divided by the distance between here. So the distance from the median to the lower boundary divided by the class boundary, class width, is going to be equivalent to the distance from my median 15th person to the 9th person going in, divided by the width of the difference between the 24th and the 9th person. That's the width of the people in that class group. So to make that fraction, I can say, well, m, my median estimate, minus 19.5, that's the difference between the median and the lower boundary, divided by 39.5 minus 19.5, that's my class width. That fraction is equivalent to 15 minus 9 divided by 24 minus 9. Right, Well, let's start trying to tidy that up. So I've got my two fractions, and I can say 39.5 minus 19.5, well that's 20. And 15 minus 9 is 6. And then 24 minus 9, well that gives me my 15. And there's nothing we can do with this m minus 19.5 at the moment. So it's m minus 19.5, I'll just put that in there.
Mr. Barker, is this 20? Is this just the same as the width of that class?
Well spotted, Dr. Young, it is indeed. And you know what, often I'll just jump straight to this step once I've practiced a couple of times. Very good. Alright, so let's think about continuing to tidy this up. Well, I want to times by 20 to get rid of this denominator. So I can say that m minus 19.5 is equal to the 6 times the 20 all over 15. And obviously that tidies down nicely to 8. So to find out my estimate for the median, I'm simply going to add the 19.5 to both sides. So the median estimate equals 8 plus 19.5. My estimate is 27.5 minutes, which by complete coincidence is the same length of time as the two previous videos added together.
Right, Mr. Dawson's really happy with our estimate for the median, but now he wants an estimate for Q1, the lower quartile. Surely this method won't work for this as well.
Good news, Dr. Young. Not only can we use interpolation to find an estimate for the lower quartile, Q1, we can use it to find an estimation for Q3, the upper quartile as well.
Right, so, but which piece of data would I be looking at for Q1?
Ooh, well, I suppose if we looked at this, we did like halfway for the median, we just divided by 2. It's just an estimate. We could just divide by 4 for a quarter. So, how many people was it?
It's 30 people.
Divided by 4, 7.5 value.
Because it's an estimate.
Yeah.
Right, what about for Q3 though?
Well, for Q3, if 1 quarter is 7.5, we just times that by 3. So we'll be looking for 3 times 7.5, the 22nd.5th piece of data.
Yeah, 3/4 of 30.
And that'll be our estimate.
Right, let's do it. Q1.
Go.
Go team.
Alright, so I can see where you found Q1 because you've divided by 4 to find like the first quarter. So you've not used 4 parts, so you've just got a nice easy value to look at. Yeah, what have you done from there?
So then we want to find where the 7.5th piece of data is. And so it's in this class here because this class goes from the 4th piece to the 9th piece.
Right, okay. So where have you put that on the data line?
So we've got our data line and we know that the 7.5th piece of data is between the 4th and the 9th.
Oh right, and it's in this group here?
Yeah, and so we're looking for Q1, which, remember our class boundaries, must live between 9.5 and 19.5.
Okay, so I get how you set that up. How have you gone from this diagram to these fractions here?
So then we know that this fraction, the distance between Q1 and 9.5, which we work out as Q1 minus 9.5, divided by this distance, the class width, which we can work out by doing 19.5 take away 9.5, that fraction must be the same as the fraction we get on the other side. So the difference between 7.5 and 4, and divided by the difference between 9 and 4. So then we've simplified our fraction, and notice how this is just the same as this class width, and we've simplified this fraction.
Brilliant. And I can do that, I can solve that, because you just times by the 10,
Yep.
and then you add another 9.5. That's what you've done.
And so we've got an answer of 16.5 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Is that right, Mr. Barker? On all over the whole sheet.
What, you've put M there?
Don't tick
Yes.
it.
You've put M there?
Don't you also put M there,
Put
M
that-
there?
Shouldn't it be Q1?
Aren't we looking for the first quartile here?
Duck?